Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cecilia and my intention is to inspire you with art, to help you to improve your painting skills and to unlock your creativity. Thank you so much for joining me for this painting demonstration. It's gonna be a mini still life for which I use a wood board. And since it is the time of Advent, I figured it would be nice to paint a candle. And after working for a while on a piece completely created out of my imagination, it was really refreshing to paint from real life and actually having something tangible to look at. I think wood is great as a painting surface for small paintings because the surface is really flat, unlike mini canvases that mostly aren't stretched that well. And I like to make my own boards because in this way I can choose the size, and also I love to work with different materials. If you want to know the exact process behind it and how I prepare these boards, just let me know in the comments below and I will make a short video about it. I start with drawing briefly the still life composition by looking very quickly back and forth, alternately from the composition to the painting. Then, as always, I create an acrylic underpainting because I can move on faster. I use a warm brown tone and paint different layers of saturation in order to define the dark and light colors. The paints that I use are ivory black, raw umber, cadmium red, a little bit of ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow pale hue, zinc white, and raw sienna. Then I mix cadmium red and a little bit of ultramarine blue, which gives me an orangey brown. I also need magenta because I mix cadmium red and magenta to get a nice crimson red for the candle. I mix raw sienna with a tad cadmium red, white and ultramarine blue, and also a second shade, raw sienna and white. These colors are the foundation for the cinnamon and the table. To get a nice shadow color for the candle, I add raw umber to the crimson red. I will change the colors a little bit during the painting process, but these are the basics that we'll use. So now we start with the actual oil painting. We will do 2 layers. The first one is pretty raw, and with the second one we paint the details. I use crimson red as the basic color tone for the candle. At the top I use more cadmium red because the candle is brightened up by the flame. At the bottom I add more raw umber to create a shadow color. Also, I really like to paint an irregular wax shape at the top because this seems more interesting to me. For the background I use raw umber, and around the flame I add this orangey brown to make the flame shine more brightly. For now I paint the flame almost white and add a little bit of yellow just to get a basic shine. And then I paint the table in raw sienna and use raw umber and a little bit of cadmium red to paint the pine cone, and this pre-mixed raw sienna with red, blue and white for the cinnamon sticks. The inside of the candle is really bright, so I use red, yellow and white and create a smooth transition towards the flame. So this layer has to dry a little bit before we can move on. I suggest 1 to 2 days should be enough. So coming to the second layer. First, I paint over the background with the same colors as before. I make a shine around the flame, paint the edges at the top a little bit darker, and blend all the colors. The wick is black with an orange glow at the top, and around the wick the flame is orange-brown. The inside of the flame is really bright, so I use primarily white mixed with yellow. And towards the edge the flame fades into a darker yellow. So I paint these and then blend smoothly all the colors. And then I paint the tip of the flame with an orange-brown and blend it as well. The flame lights up the candle from the inside, so when I paint the melting wax at the top of the candle, I pay attention to the light parts that are at the lower part of the wax rim. Right underneath, I use a dark red to round off the rim and blend it with yellow the closer I get towards the flame. As I said, the flame lights up the candle from the inside, and because of that, the upper part is brighter than the lower part. So the next step is about intensifying this nice gradient. And I use the same colors as before and get darker at the bottom in order to deepen the contrast. For the melting wax, I use a darker color because it is hidden in the shadow of the candle, and then I paint small irregular lines for the droplets. Like you want to have some bigger drops where the wax is accumulated and then a small line where it flows down. As always, you just want to make sure that one side is darker than the other in order to create a 3D effect. Here the light source is coming from the right hand side, so the right parts are gonna be lit up. Then I paint the details of the pine cone and cinnamon sticks to finish up the still life composition. And finally I create a shadow on the table at the left hand side and around the props to really underline the space in the painting. And for that I use raw sienna mixed with raw umber. I blend these colors, and the more I transition into the light area, I use raw sienna and add a little bit of cadmium red to warm it up. So that's it, a little advent season still life. This is just one way to paint a candle. Of course, there are so many different options when it comes down to creating art. I hope this video was helpful to you and you guys enjoyed watching it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know in the comments down below if you still have some questions. Also, I love to hear from you what you'd like to see next. I wish you a wonderful day, and until next time!